All right, everybody, welcome to the event. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Leah Stiff, and I am the Executive Secretary for the Association of Latino Faculty, Staff, and Students, also known as ALFS, at California State University, San Bernardino. I am super excited to kick off this final event in the ALFS Hispanic Heritage Month series, Mi Voto, Mi Voz, Mi Vida. We want you to know that each and every one of you belong here. Even if you've never voted before, you belong here. If you're an experienced voter who has never missed a single election, you belong here. And if you aren't able to vote, but you still want to make a change, you belong here. ALFS designed this event to teach you about the different ways of voting, important deadlines, your voting rights, how to make a successful voting plan, the importance of civic engagement, the basics of becoming politically educated, how to engage others in politics, and more. So get comfy and get ready to learn as I introduce one of our many partners for this event, Dr. Enrique Murillo Jr., who served as president of the Association of Latino Faculty, Staff, and Students for the 2019-2020 academic year. He is a professor of education at CSUSB, where he also serves as the faculty director for the CSUSB Doctor of Education and Educational Leadership Program, and is founder and executive director of the Latino Education and Advocacy Days organization. He is founding editor-in-chief of both the Journal of Latinos in Education and the Handbook of Latinos in Education. Dr. Murillo is a former California Student Aid Commissioner and served while implementing the California DREAM Act. Dr. Murillo also serves as the president of Southern California Consortium of Hispanic Serving Institutions. He will now be giving a land acknowledgement for the indigenous peoples of Southern California. So Dr. Murillo, take it away.
Gracias, Leah. Thank you, and welcome everybody. Again, my name is Enrique Murillo, professor in the College of Education, founder of LEAD, and now directing the doctoral program in educational leadership lead in the College of Education, we're very pleased to be a partner with ALFS and the rest of the partners on this very important event. It is consistent with our views because as Latinos, as we represent a significant portion of this region, state, and country's post-pandemic future, we must achieve a dramatic and powerful change in our communities. For us to create a positive future, it requires a citizenry that is that we got to be equipped to compete in a global economy, part of a literate and well-educated labor and consumer base, a pool of linguistic and cultural talent that would serve to strengthen ties with Mexico and Latin America, a significant component of a highly productive work and business force that contributes to the tax base and therefore our economic well-being. But most importantly, hence our event today, a citizenry that is poised to participate and shape the US political landscape through voting and civic engagement. Next, I'd like to say that albeit we are culminating our Hispanic Heritage Month activities and events, we are acutely aware that terms like Hispanic are really misnomers or half-truths, as we are a mismatch of many ethnicities. By far, we know our culture, foods, and heritage are mostly and deeply rooted in the native, in the indigenous. For me, as you know, I'm Chicano, Taue, Yoreme, with ethnic roots in Sinaloa. So on behalf of our planners, partners, and advocates, and as we have just celebrated Indigenous Peoples Days this week, we wish to offer this land acknowledgement to recognize and out of respect for the local indigenous peoples, the Serrano, Cahuilla, Cupeño, Tongva, Tatavian, Acachamen, Shumash, Kumeyaay, and many others from Southern California, who are the traditional stewards of these lands and the enduring relationship that exists between indigenous peoples and their traditional territories. It is important to understand the long-standing history that has brought each of us to reside on this land and seek to understand our place within that history. Land acknowledgements don't exist in a past tense, in a vacuum, nor are trapped in a historical context. Colonialism is a current ongoing process, and we need to build our mindfulness of our present participation. So as we proceed today, we must learn to build real and authentic relationships. In addition to normal employment and family obligations, Indigenous people are working to heal their traumas, learn their languages, and support their nations. So let's seek to understand land displacement and what actions we can take to support Indigenous communities. And in my eyes, that respect and recognition really goes and extends to the detribalized diaspora, those native descendants of maize or corn-based cultures of the greater Mesoamerican regions, and the descendants of all indigenous peoples of this hemisphere, who themselves displaced of land, have found ourselves as residents in the homelands of other indigenous peoples, migrants like our parents, grand or great-grandparents, many who fleeing political and economic violence and colonial structures in their own countries of origin, only to face the coloniality and racial domination of the United States, encountering structures here in the US that often seek to manage and erase our own indigeneity. So entonces, gracias de nuevo, Tlazocamate. Let us now welcome Dr. Tomas D. Morales, who is president of California State University, San Bernardino. Dr. Morales is the fourth president in the history of our campus and has been serving for the last 8 years. He is well known widely as a steadfast advocate for enduring commitment to student success. He has championed the importance of access to higher education, helping shape and define the future as a dedicated educational leader. Most recently, and I'm very proud to be serving with him on the executive board for this initiative, we're working to actively pivot our campus and our region towards a post-COVID future within our economy and educational landscape, and in particular, building a culture trying to shift and nudge our campus with a stronger and committed disposition toward diversity, equity, and inclusion. So entonces, señores y señoras, mi gente, les presento nuestro presidente, Dr. Tomás Morales.
Thank you. Gracias. Gracias, Enrique Morillo. Let me welcome all the students, faculty, and staff, community members joining us for today's event. I want to make it clear that whether you have never voted before, you have voted, or you have voted in every single election since you came of age, or for any reason you are unable to vote, you belong here. During this program, you will be provided with valuable and usable information from the basic how-tos of voting to available resources to make informed decisions, to ways of making your voice heard despite not being able to vote. I want to offer thanks and appreciation to those organizations that partnered to make this event possible. Associated Students Incorporated, ASI, Association of Latino Faculty, Staff, and Students, ALFS, the Office of Community Engagement, OCE, Latino Education and Advocacy Days, LEAD, and Mi Familia, Vota. Everyone here who is eligible but who has not yet registered to vote, I urge you to do so today. This year, CSUSB is participating in the College Ballot Bowl. We are competing against other CSUs and UCs and community colleges to register the greatest number of students eligible to vote this November. So to all of the yotes here, get registered and get vote ready. Unidos, together with our voices and our ballots, we will define the future. It is now my great honor to introduce today's election update speaker. Alex Padilla is the Secretary of State of California. For more than 5 years, he has focused on serving the people of this great state. He has modernized the office, increasing voter registration and participation, and strengthening voting rights. In 2018, he launched the California Motor Voter Program, which automatically registers eligible Californians to vote when they obtain or renew their state ID or driver's license. In its first year, the program registered 1 million new voters. This past September, our state, under his leadership, reached an all-time high of 21 million voters, 21 million registered voters. He oversaw the 2018 election, which saw a 64.5% of registered voters cast a ballot in California. It was the highest turnout for the election of a governor here since 1982. He also sponsored legislation in 2015 to establish voter centers, expand early voting, and implement same-day conditional voter registration through the Voters' Choice Act. Before becoming Secretary of State, he represented the San Fernando Valley, where he grew up and attended public schools. He served 2 terms in the state Senate, and before that was East San Fernando Valley's elected representative on the Los Angeles City Council. A graduate of MIT with a degree in mechanical engineering, he is a past president of the National Association of Latino elected and appointed officials. Please join me in welcoming the speaker for our election update, California Secretary of State, Alex Padilla.
Well, thank you, President Morales. Very kind and thorough introduction. I appreciate that. And look, I want to thank Enrique as well for inviting me back for this year's event. Enrique, kudos to your entire team. Great job on organizing. Great job on making sure I had my Zoom links and all the reminders to make sure that we participated in this important and timely gathering. I know it's virtual because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but timely and important nonetheless. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. I was asked to join and give a little bit of an overview of what we need to know as voters and as citizens during this critical and consequential election. So before I get to that, I simply wanted to sort of set the stage. You know, you heard in President Morales's introduction many of the initiatives that I've been championing as Secretary of State. You know, I think it can all be summed up as having listened to my high school government teacher. You know, our democracy works best when as many eligible people participate. But that hasn't always been the case in practice throughout our nation's history, including California. And so over the last nearly 6 years, we've championed policies like online voter registration, automatic voter registration, more options on how people can cast their ballots. And we're seeing the results of it in spades. Registration is at an all-time high, and we're expecting tremendous turnout for this November's election. But it's not just the numbers that motivate me. We have increased registration by millions, and you know, you heard 2018 was the largest turnout in a gubernatorial election since 1982, and we had a record primary this year. You know, registration continues to climb, and we had more ballots cast in the March primary than any election, primary election in California history. But it's really the people behind the numbers that we should be thinking about, because research tells us, including some of Enrique's, you know, who is it that has historically been disproportionately eligible but not registered to vote? Who is it that's been disproportionately registered to vote but has been only an occasional voter, not a very consistent voter participating in every election? We know it intuitively, but the research tells us it is disproportionately young people, it is disproportionately working families, and it is disproportionately communities of color, especially Latinos here in the state of California. So I tie all that together by suggesting that all the work that we have done to have more eligible people now on the rolls, right? An increase of nearly 3 million in the last few years alone is disproportionately uplifting those voices that have not been heard in the political process. And same by making it easier to vote. When we increase turnout, we know that the electorate is better representing the people, and by extension, the representatives that are elected to all levels of government, federal, state, and local, and the important policy issues that are decided at the ballot better reflect the people and the will of the people. So that's why I do what I do, and I'm so passionate about it. But you know, let's really be specific here, because we are 19 days from Tuesday, November 3rd. Now, you may know November 3rd as Election Day, and officially it is, but I'm going to invite you to simply think about Tuesday, November 3rd as the last day to vote, because of our emphasis on early voting this year. You know, every election is important. You hear that. In every election, elections workers work hard to make sure that our democracy is accessible to all eligible voters. So it should be easy to participate. That, of course, it's secure. We've heard a lot of election security in the last 4 years. But, you know, what does it mean in the era of COVID? How do we keep access to the ballot safe from a public health perspective during this COVID-19 pandemic. And so here's the overview. I'm sure you've heard some of this already, but I'd rather make sure that we cover it. Every active registered voter is receiving a vote by mail ballot to be able to vote from the safety and comfort of your own home this November election. You probably received it already. The deadline to send them out by the counties was last week. And if you haven't received it, keep checking that mailbox. It's arriving any day now. Now, when you get your vote by mail ballot, know that you have multiple options for how to return it. You can mail it back, and I still think that's a reliable way to do it, even though the post office has been in the news lately. You have the option of dropping the ballot off at any official ballot drop box in your county between now and election day, or you can walk it in person. There's some people who choose to show up at the in-person voting locations to drop it off and hand it over to an election worker there. Multiple options. And all to facilitate your participation. Now, because everybody's getting a ballot in the mail, that does not mean that it's an all vote by mail only election. There are opportunities to vote in person for voters who need it, whether it's for accessibility issues, language assistance, or even to participate in same-day registration. So your county will provide several locations over the course of several days. It's not just Tuesday, November 3rd, plenty of in-person early voting opportunities as well. But it's not the same. Just like we can't go to the grocery store the same way anymore. Bring your mask, look for the signage. We're implementing physical distancing and other public health measures, hand sanitizer for everybody. Don't worry when you see the poll workers wearing masks or face shields, gloves, that sort of thing. They're doing all that to make sure they keep themselves and the voters safe. And yes, we're cleaning all the voting equipment before and after every person who uses it. So look, all told, multiple options for participating and protect your health and your safety. One important recommendation and ask that I have of all of you. If you go to vote.ca.gov, that's where you see all the voter information, tools, and resources in one location, including Where's My Ballot? It's our ballot tracking program available to all voters in the state now. You can sign up to receive automatic notifications by email, by text message, or by phone call on the status of your ballot through the delivery process. You would have received a notification when the county mailed you your ballot, so you know when to check your mailbox. When you send it back, you'll get a notification, that it's on its way. You'll get a notification when the county has received your ballot, regardless of how you turned it in, and when your ballot has been counted. So it's great for transparency, great for accountability, and great for peace of mind, because vote by mail is safe and secure, despite what you hear from other sources. So those are the overall mechanics of your options for how to vote this November, because as you know by now, I don't have to give you even more reasons. You know how important it is that your voice is heard in our democracy. Pick the issue that we've been grappling for the last 4 years with, whether it's a concern about climate change or healthcare, the need for comprehensive immigration reform, gun safety in our communities. It's a long, long list. And that was before 2020, which has brought us, the COVID-19 pandemic, not just the health impacts of the coronavirus, but the economic impacts, the unjust and unequal economic impacts of COVID-19. This year brought us the tragedy in Minneapolis with the killing of George Floyd, and the most recent national movement demanding justice and the end to discrimination in all its forms in our country. 2020 just keeps giving us more reasons to need to vote. In California, proudly, we're not going to make people choose between exercising their right to vote and protecting their health and that of their loved ones. As you can tell, multiple ways to vote and stay safe and healthy. And make sure you're registered. If you haven't registered yet, this next Monday is the deadline. You can do it safely and easily online. Also at vote.ca.gov. The sooner, the better. If you missed the deadline because you haven't heard our multiple appeals, you can still show up in person at any in-person voting location and register and vote same day all the way through election day. So it's sort of a no excuses model of administering the election. And now the ultimate decision is not mine, but yours. You know, will you participate this November in this most consequential election in our generation? You know, and how will you do it? Will you do it in person? Will you do it by mail? However you choose to do it, I encourage you to do it early, right? The sooner your ballot gets back in, the earlier it's going to be counted. That's an incentive. But also, we can all do our part by voting early to try to keep the lines a little bit shorter on Tuesday, November 3rd, for people who show up on that last day to vote. So, Enrique, again, I know you have a big agenda, a righteous agenda, you know, but civic participation is a key part of making sure our voice is heard in the political process, in our community, in the state, and in the country in this pivotal year. And I'm just proud to be able to serve in this capacity at this time and see record numbers, record registration going into the election. And if early returns are any indicator, we're going to have a huge turnout. So thank you all very much. Continue to stay safe. Keep wearing those masks. Keep washing those hands. We're going to get through this and get through it together. Si se puede.
Thank you so much, both President Morales and Secretary Padilla. No, truly, I cannot thank you enough. Now more than ever, I really feel like it's important for us to know who serves in government and to know your faces and to know that you truly do care for us, the people. So I'm really grateful that you took time out of your day to come here and speak with us. I trust that all the viewers found it incredibly informative, but if you still have questions, just remember we're having a Q&A session at the end, so please stay tuned. And now we will go on and play a video segmented, targeted at 3 different audiences: new voters, experienced voters who wish to become more informed, and those who cannot vote but still wish to make a change. So stay tuned as we pull that up.
Hi Yodis, my name is Rosario, and I'm a program specialist for ASI, and today we really wanted to break down the process of voting because we understand that it can be pretty challenging, especially if you're a new voter and you don't really know how to start. So the process of voting is actually a lot easier than what we may think. As you can see, it starts with 4 easy steps. So if you've never voted before, here's how to start. Step number 1 would be register to vote. 2, find your polling location and adding your address for mail-in voting. Number 3 would be research what's going to be on the ballot. And lastly, it would be casting your ballot. So step number 1, registering to vote. So it's important to know if you're having some issues or if you need more information on how to register to vote, I would first recommend going over to our website. And if you scroll through, you'll see that the first 3 sections are key to registering, because the first one is registering to vote. The second one is checking your voter registration status just to see whether or not you're already registered. And then the last one is really convenient because it helps track the whereabouts of your ballot. 2 key things that you should keep in mind when registering to vote is that you will need a California driver's license as well as your social security number. So step number 2 would be finding your polling location and adding your address for mail-in voting. When you're checking for your closest polling station, make sure you're checking in your local area. Also, make sure you're adding your address accurately just to avoid any complications. And if you do need any assistance with helping find your closest polling station, I would recommend, again, going over to our website. And the cool thing is, if you keep scrolling, you'll find these 3 sections, and it'll give you early voting locations where you'll be able to vote at least up to 4 days before the November 3rd election. So you'll have an advantage there. You'll also be able to locate your local polling place, and if you would like, you can also become a poll worker. So head over to the website to find more of this kind of information. So step number 3 would be to research what's going to be on the ballot just to avoid any confusion when you're actually voting. If you head over to the ASI website, you'll be able to see what's on the ballot, and you'll be able to explore the different California ballots. So for example, from here, just scroll up a little bit. In the middle, you'll find 3 different sections. So what's on the ballot, planning your vote, and the data of the actual elections. So if you click on what's on the ballot section, it'll send you over to this, where you'll see the California ballot measures. And the cool thing is you'll be able to see every proposition that will be on the ballot, what a yes vote would mean and what a no vote would mean. So I would highly recommend this section of the website just because it's very beneficial towards the elections and seeing what each proposition means in depth. So definitely recommend utilizing this website. So step number 4 would be cast your ballot. So while you're registering to cast your ballot, please make sure to choose the track your ballot option. This will just make the status of your ballot a lot easier. It'll make tracking the status of when your ballot was received, when it was sent in, and when it was successfully processed. So I highly recommend it. Also, if you choose the local polling station option, make sure to visit the website to see the early voting locations. Again, you can vote as early as 4 days before the actual election date. Before I close out the video, I do want to share some California election information, just to share some deadline dates. So for registering to vote online and mail, it's going to be October 19th. Registering to vote in person is going to be November 3rd. Mail-in ballot submissions must be postmarked by November 3rd and received by November 20th. And the first day to vote early in person is going to be October 5th. So I really encourage everyone to go out and vote, not only for the benefit of ourselves, but it will also make a huge impact for future generations. But before I do let you guys go, I do want to share this quick video from your ASI president, Graciela Moran.
Hey Yodis, it's your ASI president, Graciela Moran. And I'm here to tell first-time voters why it's important for you to vote. First-time voters, you are voting in a historical, monumental time in U.S. history. We're amidst a pandemic, but you're already making a difference by seeking higher education at CSUSB. Regardless of what you're studying, your vote is our future. For example, I vote for my parents. They don't have the right to vote. Search for the values, search for your morals in your vote, regardless of your political stance. It's important to use your voice, which is your vote. So many Americans don't have the privilege to vote, and so many CSUSB students, faculty, and staff don't have that privilege to vote. You can still advocate and be an activist in this important fight by contacting your local officials. If you have any questions, please reach out to me at ASI-president@CSUSB. November 3rd is when you let your voice be heard. See you then.
What comes next after voter registration? A 3-step guide to engaging in the upcoming election for voters and civically engaged students. With the 2020 presidential election right around the corner, millions of newly eligible voters across the country are preparing to cast their ballot for the very first time. As one of the most important groups to turn up on election day, first-time voters make up to 21% of the voting population in the United States. The right to vote is the most important right granted to a U.S. citizen. Our nation's history chronicles the struggle of people having to fight for their right to vote. We are walking in the path of many who sacrifice so much for our right to vote. It's important to be informed and participate fully in this process. Even if you are not eligible to vote, your advocacy can play an important role as you talk with your family, friends, and community members. All residents have a role to play in supporting a fair and informed voting process. I will be describing a 3-step guide for engaging in the upcoming election. Step 1, research political parties and candidates. Being an informed voter allows you to select candidates based on their stated platforms without relying on party propaganda or media coverage. By researching parties and candidates, you are able to make a knowledgeable decision about who your vote supports. Just because you identify with a particular party, candidates within that party often run on nuanced platforms. Before throwing your support behind a candidate based simply on their affiliation, take time to understand their qualifications, voting record, and positions. Step 2, understand the issues and propositions. After you have a good handle on political party platforms and the candidates running, it's time to learn about the issues at stake during a particular election. When voting on state and local issues, educate yourself about how the results of the election will affect your life, your community, and the residents of the state of California, such as the economy, civil rights, immigration, and individual liberties. When looking up information, remember that not all news sources are created equally. When doing your research, look for nonpartisan information that presents the viewpoints of both sides of the issue equally. Step 3, know your rights and responsibilities. When George Washington was elected America's first president, only 6% of the country was allowed to vote. Voting rights have expanded significantly since that time, but it took much devotion and sacrifice to ensure every eligible American has the opportunity to take part in this civic activity. It is important to understand your rights and responsibilities related to voting. For example, on May 8, 2020, Governor Gavin Newsom issued Executive Order N-6420, which, among other things, orders that a ballot be mailed to each voter prior to the November 3rd election, in addition to offering in-person voting locations. Any registered voter may vote with a mail-in ballot instead of going to the polls on election day. If you do decide to either personally turn in your ballot or vote at the polling place, know that there are online resources available to you about the hours of your polling place, what you can and can't bring with you to the polls, how the voting process will work with electronic voting stations, voting myths, and much more. California's Secretary of State website is a great place to get reliable information. You can find it at sos.ca.gov. Your participation is important. Whether you are eligible to cast a vote or you are supporting other voters in amplifying candidates or issues, your participation is an important part of this process. Again, there has been tremendous sacrifice by others to allow you to have the opportunity to participate. Please take this important opportunity to let your voice be heard. The time is now for you to become involved.
Hey, my name is Janet Bernabe. I'm the Riverside Regional Coordinator for Familia, Vota. Thank you so much for reaching out to us to be able to be part of this great event with CSUSB's Hispanic Heritage Month. I'm going to go a little bit into our organization and, of course, how do we get our youth involved civically, our Hispanic youth, our Latino youth, regardless of their status, if they can register to vote or not. So let me go ahead and share my screen so I can go ahead and stay in task, of course, and share and present my presentation. So we are a national nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that unites Latino, immigrant, and allied communities to promote social and economic justice through citizenship workshops, voter registration, voter participation. And we are in 6 different states, but in the state of California, we have 3 offices, which is Modesto, Fresno, and Riverside. And I tend to overlook the work in the Inland Empire, which is Riverside and San Bernardino County. A little bit about our history. Our office has been open in Riverside since 2012, but the idea of creating an organization that unites Latino community members to get civically engaged started back in the 90s. We were part of a campaign for SEIU, and that's where it all flourished, that we wanted to see an outcome in our Latino community to get involved. This is our team, the California team. So we have Samuel Molina, which is the state director, myself, Teresa Zamora, and Josefa Vega. What do we do? Our issues. We focus on immigration, education, worker rights, healthcare, environment, and voting rights. So our work is to engage Latino communities in building partnerships, which is guided by the 7 patas, the 7 pillars. So we work directly with schools, not just high schools, but of course colleges, universities, local networks of businesses, faith organizations, media outlets, community organizations, local consulates, and labor unions. Civic engagement is a core purpose of our nonprofit to increase awareness and practice through participation and practice through voter rights, education, and registration. There's various levels that we work in our community. High school. We do have a great youth leadership and civic engagement program, and I'm going to talk about a little bit more about the youth program. College campuses, we have a great program at UCR with their interns. Most of the students have been coming out from UCR. We also work very closely with San Bernardino Valley College. They have a great Promise program, community events and workshops. So also, as I mentioned, we are nonpartisan, but we do work closely already with elected officials once they are elected in office. So for example, we've been working very closely with Assembly Member Eloise Reyes from District 47. So this is our youth program. It is open for anybody. It's free. It's youth focused. Our ranges of ages are usually 16 to 24. But the youth program tends to empower youth to become involved civically in their communities, specifically within the importance of voting, volunteering, speaking, local and state representatives. The program, we educate youth on historical and political relevance that might impact them today. The program offers sessions on various topics, which is chosen by youth. So after each academic year, we get to engage students, to see what students found promising of the program, and also what may we change that can improve the program as well overall. But these are going to be our current sessions that we're going to be having for youth. As I mentioned, regardless of your status, if you're Latino or not, we do want to promote youth involvement. But one of the sessions that we're going to be focusing on this upcoming academic year, we're gearing up, still doing recruitment, but what's going to be the sessions on voting history, immigration, history of unions, environmental justice, healthcare, past and present youth movements, and LGBTQ+ history. And the program also aims to create a safe space for students to engage critical conversations and interactive activities. So we already started recruitment, so very exciting. We've been able to do sessions with instructors currently via Zoom, since most students are doing their classes, actually all students are doing their class sessions via Zoom. So this is one of our recent presentations I conducted with the instructor from Norte Vista High School in Riverside County, Ms. Segura. She's amazing. She has a government class. Most of our students are composed of Latinos, but as I mentioned, we do engage other ethnicities as well. And there's different ways to get engaged, not just through the program itself, but we always tend to give students the opportunities to engage differently. We just finished our program with the census to make sure we do have an accurate count of the hard-to-count communities, which tends to be our people of color, and also young youth that are not counted in the census. We're also working on voter registration. As I mentioned, we are nonpartisan, but we do advocate for our students to start getting involved. We do give them the resources to advocate in different forums. The Register Voters Office, of course, is hiring youth or they're part of the student co-worker program. So we do give them the resources and the links of how they can connect to that. So there's various ways. We do always tend to advocate for our youth. If there's no funding available for them to either do an event or one of our biggest events that we do take them to Sacramento for ACLU's Lobby and Conference Day. This is one of our other partners. If we're not able to afford to take our youth, we gear them up, we find funding, and of course, give them the bigger picture of their participation. How did things work, not just locally, but also at a state level and national level. Also advocating the fact that not just national elections are very important, as we all have our eyes on the presidential election this November 3rd, but also taking in mind that local elections are very important. We work with other organizations such as the League of Women's Voters, and currently they're holding candidate forums. So students, when they aren't eligible to vote at 18, they can make an educated vote. We want to make sure that we do have someone in office that aligns with the views of our community. There's various forms, but I'm not going to take too much time, but I just wanted to go ahead and give an overview of what we do. There's so much more work to do. Very exciting to see the elections is right around the corner. A little nervous, of course, on the outcome, but we want to make sure that we do engage the Latino community, and specifically our Latino youth. You can go ahead and reach me at janetb@mifamiliavota.org. We can visit our website at mifamilia.org. Or you can see any of our updates, pictures, anything else you might see via our social media platforms, which we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So please feel free to reach out to me. It's a great, great honor to be part of this event. And of course, we want to make sure that we're still advocating overall for our youth, for Latino community, because that is whatever impacts us today can impact them tomorrow. So making the change today can make the change for overall for the future to come. But thank you so much for having me. Please feel free to reach out to me as I mentioned. But yes, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right, perfect. Well, I hope you found that all helpful. But if you still have questions, now would be the time to ask them, because onto this virtual stage, ALFS would like to welcome Bob Page and Robert Chavez from the San Bernardino County Registrar of Voters, Myra Miranda from the NALEO Educational Fund, and Ana Gonzalez from the Chicano Latino Caucus of San Bernardino. And we will now proceed with the live Q&A segment. So please enter your questions into the Q&A chat box. And if you are on Facebook, you can enter them into the Facebook chat. So we'll jump right in as we already have some questions entered. The first question that came in is, can U.S. citizens living in Mexico register to vote for presidential elections? All right, and let me see.
I think generally the answer is yes. There's a law called UOCAVA, federal law, that allows overseas and military voters to vote.
Okay, where can they go to find more information on that?
I would have to ask my staff where we've got that on our website. I have not looked at that specifically. I know we have information for UOCAVA voting on our website. I'd have to really quick look for that on our website. Our website is www.sbcountyelections.com. That's www.sbcountyelections.com.
Hi, Bob. This is Melissa. One of the great places that voters that live outside of the country can go to is the FVAP website, fvap.gov, and they can help out military voters and overseas citizens.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
All right. So we have another question. How can you assure that mailed-in ballots will not be vandalized, stolen, or disappear? And along those same lines, what measures are being put in place to protect against fake ballot drop-off boxes?
Sorry. Yeah, so voters have a number of options for returning their voted mail ballot. I believe the Secretary of State mentioned them. You can put them back in the mail, and those are delivered daily to our office for processing by the Postal Service. We have 72 mail ballot drop-off locations throughout the county, most of those being outdoor, secure boxes that are made out of 18-gauge steel. They're bolted to the concrete so that nobody can walk away with them. And the other thing is that the ballot deposit slot in those are only wide enough to fit an envelope in. You cannot even fit the width of your finger in there to try to access the ballots that are inside of it. Those are picked up on regular schedules during the voting, which started on October 5th, and the box is open by the 6th. They'll be open until 8 p.m. on November 3rd. The other thing that the Secretary of State mentioned was Where's My Ballot, which is a tracking tool that sends notifications to voters who sign up for it that will tell them where their ballot is in the process. People who were already signed up for it received a message that we had mailed their ballot to them on October 5th. When they vote it and return it to us, they will get a notification saying we've received their ballot back. And ultimately, once we've determined that their mail ballot envelope is eligible to be opened and the ballot counted, they'll get a message that their ballot's been counted.
Bob, did you want to mention a little bit about the unofficial boxes? I think that was part of the question as well.
Yeah, so I know the Secretary had to leave. Is there anybody else left from the Secretary of State's office that can answer that question? Because the state's taking the lead on addressing those issues.
Perfect. Thank you both. And it's just another reason to vote early. Make sure that all of these kinks are smoothed out beforehand and you can track your ballot. All right. So do we have to bring the ballot we received in the mail to our polling place if we decide to vote in person?
That is encouraged, but it's not required. We have electronic rosters of voters at all of our polling places right now. So if a voter arrives to vote in person and wants to vote a polls ballot rather than dropping off a voted mail ballot, which they could do that as well. I mean, they can vote the mail ballot at home, put it in the envelope, sign it, and date it and seal it, and just drop it off at the polling place and not have to wait in line and check in to vote a polls ballot. But if they want to vote a polls ballot, they can. When they check in, if they don't have their mail ballot we sent to them to surrender, then we will, on our electronic roster, we will suspend that first ballot so that only and we will know on that poll pad whether or not they've already returned the mail ballot or not. And if they haven't, then we'll allow them to vote a polls ballot, and we'll suspend the mail ballot. And if the mail ballot comes in later, our mail ballot sorter system will kick that out not to be counted because they already have voted in the election.
Awesome. Thank you. And then someone asked, what steps can we take to empower our Latino families and get them to engage more with politics in order to have a say? And along those same lines, what are other resources we could potentially find within our own community that we can share with friends and family?
All right, that's an excellent question. So, like you mentioned before, my name is Ana Gonzalez. I'm the president of the Chicano Latino Caucus of San Bernardino County, and we have many resources for our community. Our main mission in our organization is to do civic engagement and community engagement to make sure that our Latino community is engaged at every government level in our county. And just a quick fact, in 2018, the Public Policy Institute in California made a survey where it showed that only 19% of those eligible Latino voters voted. So we have a big chunk of Latino voters that do not vote and are eligible to vote. And so our mission, along with, our partners like you in Cal State and many other organizations, we are encouraging our Latino communities to vote, and how important it is that they are engaged because they can potentially change the future of our communities and get that representation that we need in our communities. We are now about, I think the last data that I looked into, we are already 58% Latino community in Riverside and San Bernardino counties, and yet we still have a lot of white elected officials that don't represent our communities and don't understand what are the struggles of our communities. And so we encourage all those folks to please get involved in the importance that it is for you to get involved and vote to change the course of our democracy and the representation of our counties here locally. And so people can get involved with our local clubs. For example, CLC, we have an open registration. You don't have to be a party affiliation, as long as you're a Latino, Indigenous. We are an inclusive club. And so there are many organizations in the county that you can get involved and understand what you're voting for, and understand who your elected officials are and why they're so important and how they can help your community and your household. And so that's why it's very important to get involved, and that's why we are here, to make sure that our community is involved.
Hi everyone, this is Myra Miranda with NALEO Educational Fund, and I'm echoing everything that our partner just said. This is also important, and one of the things that I do want to mention is that, you know, there is this mentality that Latinos don't vote, right? That we don't want to be involved. But the reality here is that we want to invite you to be part of this historical moment. And why is that? Well, we were not allowed to vote. No, it wasn't even that long ago, right? So exercising our right to vote now is our way of saying that we are going to be engaged, that we live here and that we matter. And it's a way to demand from our elected officials and also to be part of the policy making process, right? If we are not voting, you know what? Someone else is making decisions for you. And just to give you a little bit of background of the work that NALEO Educational Fund is doing, we've been doing weekly studies and polls where it's showing that part of our projections is that more than 14 million Latinos are expected to vote in this election. And this is actually a 15% increase in turnout since election in 2016. So this is a huge number. So we want to continue encouraging our families, you know, our Latino communities as well to make sure that they are voting. And just to give you another number, here in California, we are projecting that more than 4 million Latinos are going to vote. So we want to make sure that part of this 4 million, you know, it includes our neighbors, it includes our families, and it includes everyone that we know that might not be voting. It might be you who might actually make this influence, right, in someone else's life. You might be the one person that might encourage a voter. So I invite you to encourage other people, to tell them that it's so easy to register to vote. It's so easy to cast your ballot. And we also invite you to vote early, right? We need to take into consideration that COVID-19 is still happening. And if you don't want to go in person, you can still vote early. We have that privilege to send our ballots and also to drop them off. So whatever, doesn't matter how you want to vote, please do it before November 3rd.
Awesome. Thank you both. All right, so we have one question. I voted in the last election, but they sent a letter back to me saying my signature was different than the one I registered with. I was told to fix the signature, but never did. Do I re-register to vote or call them to fix it?
So it's required by state law that when we evaluate the mail ballots that are returned to us for voting, that we, if we cannot find enough similarities between the signatures and don't think that there's a match with the signature we have on file with the signature on the envelope, that we are required to notify the voter and give them an opportunity to cure that issue. All voters, those letters must be sent out at least 8 days before we certify the election. They must be given at least until 2 days before we certify to correct it. This person, I would encourage them to go onto the Secretary of State's website or our website to find out whether or not their ballot was actually counted in that election. Just because somebody received that message doesn't mean that we stopped reviewing it and having additional people look at it, and may not have had somebody at a higher level with more years of experience make a determination that they thought the signatures matched significantly enough to count it. But if this voter does believe that the signature they have on file, I'm not sure how long ago or whether there have been significant changes to their signature, then yes, I would encourage this person to re-register and provide a new signature. And the deadline for registering for voting in this election is Monday, October 19th. Any updates or re-registrations after that date then have to be done in person rather than on the Secretary of State's website.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And we just had two very similar questions come in. When researching propositions, elected officials, fact-checking, etc., what do you recommend for websites, and what should we look for to know which websites to trust? And another asked, where can I find more information about propositions?
Yeah, so I can give the basic information, but not recommend outside websites in terms of who to trust or who not to trust. What I can tell you is that the statewide propositions are printed in the California Voter Information Guide that's mailed to all voters. It's also available on their website to actually read the text of the propositions, read a kind of an impartial analysis by the state about it. You can also see arguments for and against it from different parties when reviewing it. Similarly, for local measures, either county-wide measures or a city measure or a school district measure, those are then printed in the County Information Guide, which we mail to all voters, but is also available on our website. Some jurisdictions choose not to print the entire text of their measure, and when that's the case, then we print in the Voter Information Guide to go to our website to actually read the whole measure. So we have on our website for this election, you go to the elections tab to this election for the presidential election and scroll down, you'll find a local measures section, and you'll be able to open up that page and look at all of the local measures that are on our ballot and find the ones that you may be eligible to vote on and read up on at least on what the text of the measure is. But in terms of opinions about it and who to trust, I'll leave that to somebody else to answer.
Thank you, Bob, for that. So yeah, so we have a couple of resources for you all. And one of the most trusted website that we've come across with in the last 5 years that I've been involved is the votersedge.org. And it shows both sides, like for example, the propositions, it'll show the pros and cons. And then at the bottom, it'll show who supports the proposition and who's against the proposition. So then that gives voters an idea, and it uses a language that voters can understand. Because of course, when we see the proposition language on the ballot, it's very confusing. And sometimes you think that you're voting yes on something means that you're for it, but it actually means that you're against it if you're voting yes. So all those explanations are on voteredge.org, I'm sorry. And then also, the Chicano Latino Caucus does a very massive vetting of propositions and candidates. And you can visit our website at clcsbc.org, and you can look at our recommendations as well. And I know most of our partners here also have many websites that you can trust and you can reach out to look at the recommendations.
Perfect, thank you. And be sure to check the chat. Jonathan has been very vigilant in posting everyone's information and various websites. So thank you all. Somebody asked, can you mention some strategies for voting more efficiently? It was asked in Spanish. I'm not going to try and pronounce it because my Spanish is atrocious, but that is the translation.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Yes, can you mention some strategies for voting more efficiently?
Well, in terms of what we're promoting in terms of voter education is that the voter makes the choice about what they think is the safest and securest method of voting. Because as I said, they can mail their ballot back if they think that's the most efficient or safe. They can put it in one of our official drop boxes throughout the county, and we have on our website a locator map to find the closest locations to you. Or they can come to our office in San Bernardino. The week before the election, the week of October 26th through 30th, we open up 5 additional early vote sites throughout the county in Ontario, Victorville, Apple Valley, Joshua Tree, and a second location in San Bernardino. And then from October 31st through November 3rd, we'll have 210 polling places they can go to. So it's really their choice as to what they believe is the safest and most secure, or I guess efficient, if that's what they're looking for. I would encourage them, if they do want to vote in person, to do it early and not wait until, as Secretary of State mentioned, not wait until November 3rd. Traditionally, in presidential general elections, there is the highest level of turnout of any election in the 4-year cycle. It's not unheard of to have lines of an hour to 2 hours at polling places on the traditional election day. So we're hopeful that given the number of options that people have, the additional days of voting at polling places that are early vote sites, that people will be able to avoid being in long lines, not put themselves at risk because of being around too many other people because of COVID. But what I can share, if they do want to vote in person, we are implementing a number of safety measures. So all of our poll workers will have face masks and plastic face shields over those on. They'll be cleaning all the high-touch surfaces throughout the day. There'll be plenty of hand sanitizer. If a voter shows up and is not wearing a face covering, we will offer them a disposable face mask that we've purchased. If a voter refuses to wear a face mask, we will then offer face shields to everybody else in the polling place while they're present voting, because we can't stop somebody from voting just because they won't wear a face covering, but we will help protect everybody else that's present if there is somebody who's not wearing one. So I want them to know that whatever choice they make with their ballot, that all of them are going to be safe, and all of them are effective, as the Secretary of State mentioned. But ultimately, it's their choice as to what they think is the best way to do it.
Nomás quería agregar que la pregunta que habían hecho en cómo votar, incluí un enlace en el chat que tenemos información en español, y es un kit de herramientas que tenemos para los votantes, y incluye información de cómo vamos a proteger a los votantes, proteger su seguridad, cómo pueden votar. Entonces es un recurso que está disponible en el sitio del condado. So el enlace está, lo puse en el chat.
Gracias, Robert. All right, so I am going to pause there and give a few closing remarks, but please don't leave. We are going to reopen the Q&A portion for a little bit after these remarks, but I just want to transition really quickly. So, all right. So on behalf of Association of Latino Faculty, Staff, and Students, I want to thank you all for attending our event. And I would also like to thank all of our partners on this event. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for gifting us with your time and your passion and your knowledge. It's been amazing working with you all. If you would like more information, please do visit these 3 websites. They include all the information, all the links to our various partners' websites that you need to stay on top of election updates and begin making more informed decisions. Also, if you are able, we ask that you consider contributing to the scholarships that the Association of Latino Faculty, Staff, and Students provide for CSUSB students. No amount is too little, and we really, really appreciate every single penny that you can give. So please take a picture of this slide, share it with friends, donate if you're able to, whatever you can do to help. Lastly, we encourage you to share this graphic on social media and include a pledge for this upcoming election. This can range from I pledge to vote to I pledge to have more conversations about relevant political issues with friends and family. And if you're a CSUSB student, staff, or faculty member, be sure to tag ALFs and you will be entered into a giveaway. All right, so after those out of the way, we'll go ahead and continue with the Q&A because we have a few more questions. Somebody asked, does your vote really matter if the Electoral College determines who your state votes for? Ooh, that's a difficult one.
I can go ahead and just give a little bit more information on this, because this is something that we encounter a lot, especially for younger people, right? And I love numbers and I love statistics. So number 1, millennials and Gen Z are currently the largest voting demographic, right? So if we don't vote, like I mentioned, someone else is gonna make decisions for us. So yes, that is true. We have the Electoral College, but you're not only voting for, federal candidates, you're also voting for ballot propositions. You're also voting for local candidates. These are people that you can call directly and to have a one-on-one conversation to make sure that, like something's getting addressed in your community. So there's just so much at stake. And that's the reason why we need to make sure that we are educating one another on what we are actually voting on, right? And even, like for propositions, there has been a lot of webinars on just one single proposition because there is so much information. So the information is out there. We just want to make sure that we're actually doing the work, you know, and if you have some information that maybe somebody else doesn't have, make sure that you're sharing that with them. So going back to the original question, we're not only voting for federal, like there's just so much that comes on the ballot that we cannot afford, you know, to not even consider voting at this time.
Perfect. That's great. Yeah, we're not just voting for presidents, we are voting for our lives. So vote for propositions, for local governors, all of that. All right. So what is a jungle primary, and does California have one? Interesting.
Jungle primary? I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, visit websites, Google it. Let's see if we can find the answer.
I can say that in California, in the primary election, we have different kinds of ways that people move on to the runoff. There are certain offices, you know, the presidential race, there was a nomination by their party who would end up on the ballot. Other offices below that, voters are choosing who they think are the best candidates, regardless of party, and the top two candidates, regardless of what party preference they have, will end up in the runoff. So you could have people on this ballot running for state assembly that are from the same party. And then you have local offices which are nonpartisan. So, you know, there's different levels of voting in the primary and what the results are for that. Even the local offices, such as county supervisors, in those contests, the person with the most number of votes doesn't necessarily win. There's only a runoff if none of the candidates in the primary for county supervisor do not receive at least 50% plus one vote. If somebody does, then there is no runoff, and that person's elected, and they'll be installed on the Board of Supervisors in December. But other local offices, you know, it's just, we have a couple city councils that have primary run races that it's in the primary election, but they're not primaries. They get elected in that election. There's a lot of different ways that people might show up on the ballot and get elected in a primary.
All right. So I think it was just one of those terms.
It's used commonly, if I may. It just refers to a nonpartisan blanket primary. So in other words, anybody, regardless of affiliation, puts their name in for the primary, and it's, you know, usually the top two, regardless of affiliation or party.
So then we do, because we have the top two kind of contests in our primary. Not all of them, but we do have some contests that are the top two go to the runoff.
All right. Well, thank you for that. I learned something new myself. What is the difference between a primary and a caucus?
Well, we don't have caucuses in California, so I'm not an expert to speak on how they work. We have primaries.
All right.
Caucuses are private events. The primary elections are held by state and local governments.
Thank you, Enrique. All right. So does California have an open or closed primary?
As I indicated, we have an open primary in terms of the top two races, but for the contest of president, it's not open. It's each of the qualified parties decides whether or not only their own members get to vote, or whether or not they will allow people who do not have a party preference to vote in their elections. So half of the parties in our state chose to allow no party preference voters to get a crossover ballot and vote in their primary election. So the primary for the Democratic Party's presidential candidate, the Democratic Party chose to allow no party preference voters to vote in their primary election for their candidates. The Republican Party was on the other half, where they only allowed members of the Republican Party to vote in their primary. So those people who wanted to vote in that primary, if they weren't registered as a Republican going into that election, needed to re-register as Republican to vote for the Republican candidate for president. So we kind of have a mixture. It's not a complete open, but the parties do have the choice of allowing it to be more open.
Excellent. Yeah. And we used to have that, but in 1998, the Supreme Court said it was unconstitutional. So California used to have that open primary, but then ever since then we don't anymore. And never in the presidential. There's that doesn't exist. Presidential, it's always party affiliate.
Thank you both. That's interesting. All right. And one final question. Can a felon on formal probation vote?
On formal, I need to double check the Secretary of State's list of who can vote. So on probation, I think it's yes. It's parole, it's no, if I remember correctly. Is that correct? Melissa, she's telling me yes in my chat. So yeah, so if you're on probation, yes. If you're on parole, no.
All right, perfect. So last call, if you have any questions that came up, please do enter them now. I will give it about a minute. But again, if you are able to, please visit our websites. You'll find a bunch of links in the chat box. So make sure you look there, open them up, educate yourself. We have plenty of resources on the ALF's website, including third-party voting. Yes, thank you. Including third-party websites where you can just educate yourself. You can read up on pros and cons of different issues. And then we also have linked our partners' official websites. Oh, we have one question that just came in. I know there are some senior high school students who are unable to vote this election, but is it possible for them to pre-register? And where could they find help on how to do it?
Well, high school seniors would only be unable to vote if they're not 18. 16 and 17-year-olds in our state can pre-register. They go to the same Secretary of State website to do that. So, but as long as somebody's 18, just because they're in high school doesn't mean they're ineligible. If they're 18 and an adult, they can vote. 18 and a citizen, they can vote.
Great, perfect. So
can they register ahead of time? Could they, like, I'm almost 18. Can I go ahead and register now, or do I have to be 18 to walk in and fill out the first?
Yeah. So if you're 17, you pre-register, and then as soon as you turn 18, you become registered. So as long as you're 18 on the day of the election, you'd be allowed to vote in that election. But you would pre-register when you're 16 or 17, and then as soon as you turn 18, you are automatically registered. Your registration record switches over.
And do you know the DMV still allows people with I remember young people when they go get their driver's license for the first time or something, are they offered the opportunity to register to vote then?
My understanding is when you do anything at the DMV, registration is something that's offered, and specifically, it's set up so that if you don't want to re-register or register, you have to physically say no. Otherwise, it sends you through the process of registering if you don't say no. So I've used it myself when I went and got my real ID. So I was already an adult, so I'm not sure what would have happened if I was getting my driver's license, if it would allow them to pre-register. I assume so, though.
I can speak to that. It did request that I pre-register when I got my driver's license before I was.
Okay.
All right. Oh, and then there was one last question. I heard during the presentation that to register to vote, you need your driver's license, but if we don't have one, can we use our California ID?
Yes, you can use your California ID.
All right. And if you have any more questions like that, how do I vote? Where do I go to vote? What do I bring to vote? Do I have to bring my mail-in ballot or anything? Go to the Secretary of State website. It has all of those in these fancy little easy to use buttons. You just click on them, you click your question, and you'll find all of that information. And again, if you want any information on how to make more informed voting decisions, visit all of our partners' websites. That's their number one job, is to help you educate yourself. And remember, going back to that question about the Electoral College, it's not just about presidents. Like, I know that's front and center right now, but it is about propositions and our communities and local government. You are designing your lives with your vote. So make sure you're reading up on those propositions. The propositions really, really matter. It's not just all about presidents. Definitely vote on that too, but it matters more than you think it does. That's just my 2 cents as a moderator. All right, again, last call for questions. Anyone? All right. Well, if there are no more questions, I suppose we will go ahead and close out. We'll all stay on for a little bit longer if anyone does have questions. But thank you all so much for attending. Again, please visit those websites, reach out to us, stay in contact. But thank you to all of our partners, all of you, it's so amazing. If you could all turn on your videos, that would be great, so that we can all see you and see everybody who was involved in making this event possible. And then if we could stop screen sharing so we could see everybody. Here we all are, popping on. This is our wonderful community. All right, we're getting a lot of thank yous in the Q&A as well. So thank you, everybody. All right. More thank yous. Perfect. All right, well, I think that concludes the program. So we'll go ahead and shut it down, but please stay in contact. Reach out to Alice if you have any questions about where to find anything. We'll direct you to the right place. And yeah, see you all at the next event. Go vote, go register, go get the word out. Bye, everybody.